Hey guys, hello Bella, and this is my 9-month update for you guys of being on Ozempic for weight loss. I have been taking Semaglutide, whatever you want to call it. I've been taking it for an extended amount of time at this point, and I've had what I would consider to be positive results, but I want to discuss it with you guys to kind of tell you a little bit about what I've been doing and what I've been changing and anything that I've noticed while being on this latest dose of 1.7 milligrams. So let's just get into it. So I started out in the 180s when I had decided that I had to do something about my weight, and I'm now in the 160s, and I'm really happy about seeing that number because I haven't seen that number in a long time. I had initially lost about 50 pounds when I was around 21, and now I'm 28, and so all of that weight had come back on plus more, and I was just seeing no results when it came to dieting, exercising, obsessively counting calories, everything that I was supposed to do to lose weight, and it wasn't working. And looking back on it, I feel like I should have gone to the doctor a lot sooner, but since going to the doctor, I've discovered a lot of things about my body that don't function properly, and I'm trying to get those under control. So in terms of my weight loss, I have lost 13.3 pounds over the last 9 months. And I know that I'm gonna get a lot of comments that say, oh my God, that's not enough. But I have a very small frame. I'm only 5 foot tall. And so this amount of weight loss has been significant to me in terms of the way that I look and feel, the way that my clothes fit, and just my overall health in general. I'm feeling like I have more energy. And so I've been losing, I guess, about 1.5 pounds a month if I go off of the averages. I think the biggest loss was probably about 3 pounds in 1 month when I first started, but that was probably also like water weight. But one thing that's been impressive to me is being able to maintain a consistent weight loss every single month, because in the past I would just be so happy that I hadn't gained any weight. And so it seems like even though this is not a ton of progress in terms of weight, in terms of everything else, I would definitely still be taking this medication. The clarity and the mental freedom that it's given me from food and thinking about eating all the time has been worth every penny that I've paid. I will get to kind of how I'm getting my Ozempic at this point and how much it costs, but I want to sort of talk about what has kind of led up to being on this for 9 months. Obviously the weight loss has been pretty slow, but I take consistency over a quick fix any day, because this medicine has helped me kind of realize, some of the things that were honestly taking over my life in terms of, like, I was obsessed with my next meal. I would get hungry like 3 hours after eating. I would be hungry again, and I just don't feel that constant hunger and that food insecurity that I used to feel. I go to the doctor once a week to get my injection. I pay $65 per shot, and it has been, it's expensive, but I definitely know people who are paying more than that. I am on the 1.7 milligram dose, and I talked to my doctor a little bit. I probably will be moving up to the 2.4 milligrams sooner or later. I have seen some diminishing effects of the appetite suppressant portion. In the past, the first couple months, really, I stayed pretty low grade nausea where I didn't want to eat, had a lot of like food, I was food averse, let's say that. And so in this past couple of months, I've been on the 1.7 now for probably about 16 weeks. And I kind of just, I'm still not really thinking about food, but I do get hungry, and I do kind of honor that by eating when I am hungry. My meals are still pretty small. I've kind of learned how to plate my food differently, because I would definitely fix up too much food in the past, and I'm not doing that anymore. A lot of the habits that I've had from being on this drug for the last 9 months have hopefully contributed to sort of sustainability in terms of like being on this weight loss journey for however long it takes to get to a healthy weight. So I did have blood work done. I've actually had blood work done 3 times at this point, because my white blood cell count has been high, and I am set up to see a hematologist next week. So I'm pretty nervous about it, honestly. It doesn't help that I have to go to a place called a cancer center to get this done, even though I know it's a hematologist who works at the cancer center. It's just had my nerves all in a wreck, and I guess like seeing life and seeing the things that can go wrong and having all these issues that I've already had with my back sort of have made me more paranoid. And that's another thing that I wanted to touch on, is that weight loss, while simple for some people, is not simple for other people. I got a lot of comments in my one of my videos about how I should have lost more weight by this point, and that I wasn't dieting and I wasn't exercising, and that I'm not doing everything right. And I just felt like that person was so ignorant towards all the different things that can go wrong with you physiologically, mentally. I have chronic pain, and it's not easy to just do my everyday life stuff that I need to do, much less focusing on losing weight. I've had 2 procedures done on my back. I've had epidural steroid injections. I'm about to have another round of injections done because I'm in pain daily. And so I think what we don't see about weight loss is that there's a lot of other contributing factors besides like what you put on the plate every day and what you choose to do with your time. Because most of us who are on this medication, or for those of you who are thinking about taking it, I'm guessing that this is not your first time trying to lose weight. I'm guessing that you've tried a million things at this point and you don't know what else to do. So I would say just kind of give yourself grace. And thankfully I have not let myself listen to people on the internet too much. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have done anything in my life thus far, because everyone has an opinion about everything. But in terms of this medication being available, I have not really faced many shortages since I've started getting it from this walk-in clinic that I go to. Now for the beach, I went out of town for a month. I wound up having to go to a different clinic because my clinic told me that they can't give me the medication, like they can't give me the needles to take with me. So I wound up having to see someone else, and I felt like that clinic did not give me as good of medicine. I don't know if it's in my head or what, but I just didn't feel the appetite suppressing effects as much. And so I'm kind of wondering like what they even gave me. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, is that a lot of you are getting your Ozempic or your Mounjaro from these alternative sources, and it's very scary to think about what could go wrong. But at the same time, I've actually considered just going on like peptide websites and mixing the powdered form with a bacteriostatic water and just doing it myself. But I'm kind of scared at this point. And I might have researched it too much. You can definitely fall down the rabbit hole of that kind of stuff. I wanted to hear from you guys if any of you had gotten semaglutide from a peptide website and just been dosing yourself. That's kind of just like a side note, but that's something that I was considering at one point, because I was realizing, this is costing me hundreds of dollars a month. And while I wasn't, it's not that big of a stretch to pay it, it's definitely unpleasant to have to add that to your list of bills when you already have health insurance. So many of you have said, why don't you just get your doctor to prescribe Wegovy? Wegovy is for weight loss, Ozempic is for diabetes. Yes, I am aware of that. However, my insurance does not cover Wegovy at all. My doctor tried everything she could to get all of this stuff approved, any of the GLP-1s approved. My insurance denied every single one. They denied the prior authorization. I called my insurance. I've done everything that I need to do in terms of, I guess the bureaucratic nature of insurance, and it has not been successful. So that's kind of where I'm at with why I'm getting it from a walk-in clinic every week. But unfortunately, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama, and I'm self-employed. So I bought a plan from healthcare.gov. So many of you asked me, what type of insurance I have and things like that. So 2023 is when my insurance sent me a letter saying they're no longer going to cover my Ozempic. So for the first couple months, I think September, October, November, December, I had no issue getting my Ozempic. So I didn't have to kind of struggle at first to pay for it or to find a way. I was literally just paying $25 for the pen. So going from that to trying to order it from Canada, which I have a video about, which I'm pretty sure they don't even allow you guys to do that anymore because Americans were causing a Canadian shortage. I've tried to order it there and done that successfully. I've gone to the different walk-in clinics, and I've even considered, some of you say that you have providers who will ship the medication to you. So I'm definitely open to that. I guess there's just a lot of uncertainty in terms of what am I actually getting? What am I actually paying? Is it going to be harder to transition to another way of getting it? And it feels like I'm a drug seeker, which is not a good feeling because I know that like I'm not doing anything wrong, but having to do the doctor shopping essentially and having to do all these workarounds really leads to a lot of just like burnout in terms of like, why do I have to try so hard to get this and to be on this when I know like physically it helps me, mentally it helps me. In terms of my anxiety, I feel like Ozempic has also been like an anxiety reducer for me because all of that food noise and all of that like stress and just like, I don't know, like those feelings of inadequacy even have sort of gone away. I'm not really thinking about that anymore. And I feel like for the first time, probably in my adult life, I've been able to look at food as just food, you know, not as good or bad, not as low calorie, high fat, high protein, this, that, and the other. I just got so exhausted thinking about the components of food, and I would read all of these different books about fasting, about the Whole30, you know, elimination diet, cutting out carbs, cutting out dairy, and it just became to the point of like, what more can I possibly do to think about weight loss? I mean, I'm doing everything that I know to do, and suddenly I'm taking this drug and things are feeling different. So as far as my progress goes, I actually took a video of me going bowling, and this was just something that I was vlogging from our trip, and I sort of noticed the outfit that I was wearing. You know, I was sort of looking a little bit more trim, looking a little bit more confident, and so I wanted to add that in here to kind of show you guys what I was looking like. And I'm also going to show you some pictures of me recently. Honestly, this outfit is not very flattering, but I put it on because I felt like it shows, you know, where I'm at physically. I've definitely seen that my waist is shrinking, my stomach is flatter. I'm feeling a lot more of the, you know, kind of when you sit down even and you just kind of feel like fat. I don't feel that as much anymore. I definitely feel like my stomach is shrinking. This shirt used to be super tight on me, and once again it's not tight, and it's really just nice to feel like things are fitting properly. So it's kind of nice to see that kind of progress, especially since I'm not seeing as much weight loss as people. But you've got to understand that people only post like really bad and really good on the internet. There's really not a lot of in between. So you'll either hear like, I lost 30 pounds in my first month, or you hear Ozempic didn't work for me and it made me sick as a dog and I had to quit. So I think you get both sides of the spectrum. But in terms of like how this drug has affected me, I think that even my personality is shining through a little bit brighter. I've been able to kind of make some like mental shifts, if you will. And so I mean, even today I went out and like I bought myself flowers because I was like, I want flowers. Like I think I deserve flowers. And so like just kind of seeing the little things that I'm starting to do for myself now that I feel like I'm almost valuing myself more. So it's kind of weird to see those shifts just from taking this medication. So in terms of my activity level, unlike some of you who said that I probably don't do any exercise, I exercise, I would say about 4 to 5 days out of the week, if not every single day. It just depends on what I've got going on. Like we recently redid our shed, and so I was outside for like 6 hours one day just cleaning, scrubbing, getting down on my hands and knees and doing everything to the shed that I could do and reorganizing it. And it was like 87 degrees or something like that, and this is Alabama heat. This is hot, sticky heat, so I was covered in sweat. And so I find myself doing things like that. I also just recently joined the Y, so I'm really excited about that. I'm going to the YMCA a couple times a week. We go there and we swim, we get in the hot tub. I like to get in the sauna. I'll do a sauna for about 15 minutes and then kind of wrap up my workout with that a lot of the time. And I've also kind of just been doing things like taking my dog to the park. We like to go and walk. There's like a loop that takes about 35 minutes or so to walk. So, you know, some days I'll just take my dog and we'll do that. And so I've maintained a consistent level of exercise. And so I think, you know, that's probably helping in terms of just being active, keeping myself going. But At the same time, with my chronic pain, I have to kind of be careful about what I do, because if I'm too active, I pay for it later, because I'll be in pain for the next couple of days and then I won't be able to do stuff. So I'm pretty cautious about that. I've told some of you I'm not able to lift weights really. I've done body weight exercises, so I'll do like squats and things like that, but I don't really put any weight on myself right now because I'm kind of looking at possibly, I don't know, maybe having to have surgery on my back. So I'm not really sure what's gonna happen with that. So, but yeah, I guess I'm kind of all over the place. I've had 150 days straight now of counting calories. And once again, I know that a lot of you don't like counting calories, or you feel like it can lead to like some binging and restricting. For me, it's just something that is a tool, and I think it comes second nature at this point to just log my food. And it also helps me see, like, if I'm not feeling quite well, I can see like, well, what have you been eating the last couple of days, you know, and maybe attribute like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have ate all that processed food. Maybe you need to switch it up this week and have like some chicken and veggies and things like that. So I think it's a good way to kind of keep yourself accountable. It's also good because if you're on Ozempic, you can find yourself skipping meals and not eating enough. And so you don't want to establish a pattern of doing that, because it's going to make you feel worse, and it's not going to allow you to build like the sustainable habits that you need going forward in your weight loss. So if you stop taking this medication, obviously the first thing that's going to happen, I think, is that I think your appetite is going to come back with a vengeance. And so there may be some time when you have to adjust to that. So personally, I guess my plan right now is to get to the 1 year mark and kind of see where I'm at, and speak with my doctor and kind of see what she thinks, and I guess just take it from there. I don't really have any reason to stop taking the medication at this point. I'm not having any bad side effects. My worst side effects are nausea if I overeat, and then occasionally I'll get a headache on the day that I get the shot. So, I mean, those are really my side effects, and I guess I'm lucky because I've heard a lot of people have some pretty bad side effects. I had a little bit of stomach pain, and I threw up twice the first couple of weeks that I started taking Ozempic, but honestly, like, other than that, I have not seen any major shifts to my life. It's just sort of become a thing that runs in the background of my life. So at this point, I think if I came off the medication, I would risk really altering the way that I feel now, because I've seen kind of how life could be if food didn't take up every minute of my day. So like I said, I am working to get a consult with a hematologist. Not sure how that's going to go. I'm nervous about it, but hopefully they just tell me like I'm anemic or something like that. I did find out that my A1C level is normal, but I did show signs of insulin resistance. So I'm happy about the A1C thing. I think my cholesterol is a little high, so I probably need to continue losing weight, obviously. But being 167.5, I can definitely tell that it's weird because like people are being nicer to me now, and I'm getting hit on more, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it, but guys are definitely being nicer to me. And maybe because I went blonde, but I didn't really intend to go blonde, but I've been spraying that stuff in my hair that makes it lighter, so that's kind of what's been going on there. But I've noticed, yeah, that like people are genuinely being nicer to me, and maybe it's because I'm feeling better about myself. Like maybe it's the way that I'm presenting myself in the world. But I think Ozempic has definitely contributed to feeling better, looking better, and hopefully better numbers when it comes to my labs and things like that. I guess I want to wrap up by saying that if you are continuing to take this and you're not seeing as much progress as everyone else on the internet, please don't compare yourself to other people. And if you are thinking about trying this, I would say, you know, if you meet the criteria, I would say give it a shot. I found this drug by accident in an act of desperation because I could not go through one more year with failing to lose weight, because I felt like, I just felt so bad. I felt like it was my fault. I felt like nothing I was doing was working, and I almost felt like, gaslighting myself into believing that like I'm a failure and I always give up and I always ruin my diet. But in reality, that was not it. I was just facing some physical problems that like literally could not be fixed without medicine. And so I guess giving myself grace has allowed me to sort of look at things through a different angle, and also allowed me to have more empathy for people, because a lot of people have disabilities, they have physical problems, they'll have issues with their thyroid or PCOS, and there's a lot of reasons why someone may not be losing weight other than they're just lazy and they won't stop eating. Because I mean, that's just such an uninformed way of looking at it. And so I guess being on this medicine and having the internet critique me and, you know, say harsh things to me, in reality has made me a warmer and more empathetic person, because I see the judgment, I guess, that people are able to give to one another, even though if they had the same judgment coming to them, they would probably have a mental breakdown. But anyways, I'm going to wrap it up by saying that I'm thankful for all of you for coming on this journey with me. If you've been watching for the last 9 months, I'm sure that you've been able to see some growth when it comes to how I'm looking at things and how I'm moving on in life, and I really appreciate you guys being here. If you would like to share your experience, let's form a discussion in the comments below of what it's been like being on Ozempic, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful week, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.